Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Just Talking About Sports. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Michael.
And Michael, what are we doing today?
I think we're just talking about sports, actually.
Gotta love your way of doing that, special way of doing that intro. And today we are going to be running through the second chance of our tournament challenge after our first bracket didn't do so well, as our group of three minds don't usually, I guess, don't work as well together as one in order to create a bracket. As I mean, this March Madness has just been unbelievable. So that's we could blame that part because it's been completely unpredictable. But so let's just say we're not doing so hot on some of our predictions, at least in terms of me. So we'll just get right into the whole nitty gritty of the second round of our tournament challenge bracket. So we will be headed into the start of tournament challenge second chance. So we're starting up top here in the West since we've made it to the Sweet 16. Whoop, whoop. And the first teams that we got here, Gonzaga and Creighton. Now, this left side of this bracket, I think I did a little bit better on because I was a believer in some of these teams, at least 3 of the 4 that would make it. So I'll start taking my sum of credit because we'll be taking credit throughout the video.
Oh yeah.
So Gonzaga made it because they had an easy road. They absolutely spanked Norfolk State after going down 10-0, and then went and proceeded to win by 40. What is that? Yeah, 43. So that's Gonzaga for you. Then they went and they took care of business against Oklahoma, and now they get to go versus a Creighton team that has not versed a above 10 seed team so far, as they had a rougher road, even though they were versing higher seeds. They had UCSB won by 1 point and was able to handle Ohio pretty well, despite a lot of people saying they were going to lose. So, what are your thoughts so far on these two teams making it?
Yeah. So first off, I got to say I made a bracket for my initial reactions on just everything, just like minute of. Yeah, it has this region perfect, but then we took a couple days to film, and some idiot picked Kansas to beat USC. I don't know who did that. Just kidding, I do. It was me. But Gonzaga's taking down Creighton. They're just so good. They do the same things. Like they all both want to run, and they both they want to play about the same pace. They both shoot a ton of threes. Just Gonzaga's better at doing Gonzaga than Creighton is at doing that same thing. So yeah, I'll take Gonzaga. Should be a high scoring game though. Should be fun.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to that one. I know Creighton's had a rougher road, so I'm a little bit more scared to see if they're gonna be able to handle a team like Gonzaga that has just been a dominating force so far this year. But we'll move on to a Pac-12 conference game, or is this the Sweet 16? So this is USC against Oregon. Oregon had a pretty surprising route. They were able to, didn't even have to play their first game. Won, according to ESPN, 1-0. Took home one of the lowest scoring games ever because VCU ended up having COVID issues last minute and they had to cancel the game. So Oregon moved on to the next round of 32 without even having to play games. But that's how this COVID is this year. And then I was able to handle Grand Canyon, then the 2 verse, and it ended up being Luka Garza's last game between Oregon and Iowa. So Oregon was able to spoil the fun for Luka and make him play his last game. I was fortunate to be at that game. It was very emotional, I can say so. But seeing as a somewhat Oregon fan, I personally think besides Butler, if there's a team, it's Oregon. And seeing them make it that far, I am proud of them so far, and I'm cheering for them. So I'm happy, and I did say they were going to make it that far. So here we go with the credits. But we'll keep moving on. USC was able to knock off Drake pretty well, and Kansas kind of they won by 9, but I think in my opinion, I think they escaped that game as the Troves brothers almost pulled off the unbelievable upset. So, and then Kansas versus USC, like you said, USC was able to pull away, or USC is very tall and were able to handle them surprisingly well. And when I say surprisingly, I mean they won by 34 against the number 3 seeded Kansas. So, who do you got in this Pac-12 matchup?
Yeah, I got a theory on the Pac-12 I'm going to present a little later. That's what we call tease in the business. But the one game they played in the regular season, USC really handled Oregon, actually. They beat them comfortably, but I just don't see that happening. I think Oregon hit a spark recently. Like, they just looked so much better. I mean, they were dominant against Iowa. That game, like, Oregon was up 10 for, I mean, the entire second half and for a good bit of the end of the first. I just think Oregon's hit a spark. I don't know. I think this game's going to be close. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to trust the team, the group of guys that all seem to be on the same page over Evan Mobley. I think this game's very 50-50. I like Dana Altman more than I like Andy Enfield. I like the coaching advantage for Oregon. I just think Oregon's on the same page right now. I think if they got one more game in them, I think they can take USC down. I'm going to take Oregon, not super confidently. This game could definitely go either way. But when I talk about guards in March, I like Chris Duarte and Will Richardson better than Drew Peterson and Tajidi. So I'm going to take Oregon.
Yeah, USC is very tall, and I think Oregon's a way better scoring team than USC. I know USC has been the taller team in the Pac-12, but I think it's all Oregon here. I got Oregon, and then I know we forgot to mention earlier, but Matt is unfortunately unable to join us because he has homework and he's stuck in his high school. So I'm pulling up his picks that he has so far out of these teams. He obviously has Gonzaga. It's a pretty obvious pick. And for his pick, he actually has USC. So he's going to be going against.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Because he's just opposite of you, Michael, as always. So, so those are the two teams that they have, at least predictions wise, to make it to the Elite Eight. We'll stick here and continue going in the West because we're going to go all the way to the Final Four, since the next time you'll probably see us won't be until next week when the Final Four is going around. So our first team, who do you have making the Final Four? I mean, is this really even a question though?
Yeah, Gonzaga. I could just end it right there and you'd be like, yep, good pick. I'll go a little bit deeper. I think Gonzaga matches up really well with Oregon just because Oregon starts like four guys, like every guy is like 6'5", 6'6". Gonzaga's Jalen Suggs is not small. I mean, Gonzaga does not have small guards. Let's put that out there. Their guards are big. So they got, they match up really well at 1 through 4. And like Timmy's maybe the one issue, but like Gonzaga can go small. They can go bigger if they have an offensive advantage there. I think they match up really well with, frankly, both of those teams, actually. I think this is Gonzaga's year, and we're all just living in it. Gonzaga.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I know I love my Oregon team, but Gonzaga's just been unbelievable. And we said it, they've been the number one team in the nation for the entire year, and they've been well deserving of it for the entire year. And I think that once again, I think this is their year. And I mean, I don't really see them slipping up until maybe the national championship. So I also have them in the Final Four. And I mean, is this continuing is the question? Matt also joins us with Gonzaga. So 3 Gonzagas in the Final Four, pretty obvious. And as you can tell, when we're all finally agreeing on something, we really believe it. So, and we'll just jump over here to the opposite side here to the South, might as well, since we now have our first Final Four in. And we'll see. We have Baylor versus Villanova, the 1 versus the 5. Not the fun part of the bracket, since those were the 2 teams or the higher seeds that made it. I mean, it's similar to the West as well because they were both able to do it. But I believe Baylor had once again a pretty easy ride getting to this place. They had a Hartford win, pretty easy game, didn't have to do much, and then they absolutely just shut down Wisconsin like from 3, and that was the only thing Wisconsin had going for them. So they were able to handle them as well. And then Villanova, kind of a surprise, at least to me, as I really, really believed in Winthrop. And fortunately, they didn't make it, and they did not make it even past the first round because they lost to Villanova in that game. I really thought they were going to make it to the Sweet 16, but hey, it is what it is. So Villanova makes it. And I mean, I'll let you take your reins here because I know you have another team you want to talk about before we get into our picks. So I'll let you take your fame.
Yeah, there was one team I didn't shut up about during our entire video, and that was North Texas. And you guys were like, "Oh, Michael, they're at 13. They're not going to win. They're playing Purdue. Purdue's good." Yeah, North Texas. I mean, I don't want to say I'm a genius, but I'm an absolute genius. I mean, nobody had that upset but DeRosa. DeRosa's over here. Yeah, the slow pace, got it. Do they have a star guard? Davion Hamlet. I mean, his dad, talk about it. Excellent video, by the way. You saw him filming with the iPad. Hilarious. Wearing the shirt of all his son's accomplishments. Oh, my goodness. That was amazing. I mean, as soon as you saw that, you should have been like, damn it, DeRosa's right. He got that one right. Yeah. shout out to North Texas. I got that one right. Taking my victory lap. Didn't shut up about him. There's a reason I didn't shut up about him. I had a feeling Javon Hamlet wasn't letting me down. And if he does that thing that he can do and returns to school next year, I will be riding the North Texas bandwagon again. Love that team. Great coach, well-coached team. They're going places.
All right. I mean, I had props to you for picking them in our conference predictions, and props to you once again picking him again. I mean, you've been on fire this year, so we'll continue keep zooming through. Who do you got in this first Baylor versus Villanova?
Yeah, as Villanova, by the way, very impressive. They made it here. I'm really impressed with them. First of all, their first game, they controlled Winthrop the entire game. Winthrop was never in that game. I mean, they were able to control the tempo, which surprised me. They Jeremiah Robinson Earl completely took DJ Burns out of that game. I mean, he was scoring on him in any way possible. And Justin Moore and Caleb Daniels played really good games on the wings. Winthrop could not stop them. They were awesome that game. And then against my North Texas team, they destroyed them. That game was, I mean, when I said the last game was never in question, that game was never in question. The minute both those teams stepped onto the floor to warm up, the game was over. Villanova was awesome. I mean, it's really impressive they got here, even losing Colin Gillespie. Taylor. They've said it in the broadcast, but I love the nickname. They called Davion Mitchell off night because when he guards you, you're having an off night. And they're going to put him on Justin Moore. He's going to have an off night. Young Arch is going to be flustered. Put Mark Vital on Jeremiah Robinson Earl. GG's. I got Baylor pretty comfortably.
Yeah, there is absolutely no question. Baylor's the better team, and there's Gonzaga, there's Baylor, there's everybody else. You were trying to get me to keep the other team, one of the other teams in there, but I still think the two of them have been way up here, and there's no taking them. And Matt also agrees with us too. He's got Baylor, and I know I forgot to click on everywhere, so we'll just kind of quick update everything that we got here so far. So that's what we do have. Forgot to click that. That's my bad. But we'll continue on with the final game in the South in terms of the Sweet 16. It's going to be Arkansas. Arkansas with Moses Moody had a great year. And the story of the tournament right here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, once again, somebody actually predicted this in the conference championship video, but he didn't really predict them to go that far because nobody expected them to get past that.
No, did not.
Awesome. And the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, have not only upset Ohio State, they also went and upset Florida and are now somehow as a 15 seed in the Sweet 16 for the first time since Florida Gulf Coast. That sparks some memories. All right, we'll continue on. I had to mention them. So he's a Georgetown fan for those who don't remember. So between these two teams, Arkansas also had a legitimate route. In a game that we thought was going to be a lot closer in Arkansas-Colgate, Arkansas blew them out. And then they went and they proceeded to sneak away with a win against Texas Tech, only winning by 2 and just barely surviving that last shot. And now they get to go up against probably a lot more favorable matchup in Oral Roberts. But, we said that about Ohio State. We said about Florida. And who knows how many times this Oral Roberts team is going to keep winning. Because they're a Christian school, and anytime there's Christian schools in March Madness, something always goes right for them. So who do you got in this game?
First of all, shout out to there being another 15, so I don't have to see that Dunk City video every single time anyone talks about a 15 seed. I mean, I'll still see it about 1,000 times over the next week, but that was not a fun memory. But also, the reason I picked against USC is because Andy Enfield was the coach of that Florida Gulf Coast team. That's the sole reason. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that was the reason. But I got Arkansas here. I think Arkansas. Jalen Tate's an elite perimeter defender. Put him on Max Asmus. They got Justin Smith. Put him on Kevin O'Banner. Oral Roberts, awesome run. But the thing with those two teams they played is Ohio State. The thing called defense. Ohio State doesn't believe in that. They don't do that. And then Florida is. I've talked about dumb teams in the past. Florida's a dumb team.
They are a dumb team.
They could have won that game so many times, and they just went dumb. I mean. Yeah, they were just dumb. Mike White is not a good coach. Florida, actually, fun stat. In 3 of the last 9 tournaments, they've played 15 seeds, despite never being a 2 seed. They played They played Norfolk State in that tournament as a 7 or 10. I don't remember which. They played that team from that other school in Florida as a 3 seed and beat them. They beat both those teams, and then they played Oral Roberts, America's team, and they tried to beat them. It couldn't. Yeah, so it's just a little fun fact. Yeah, I got Arkansas, though. I think Arkansas wins this one easy. All good things have to come to an end at some point, and Oral Roberts, thank you, but your time is done.
Yeah, I mean, they've gained everybody's respect on making it here, but it's just an obvious choice. I mean, I lost money thanks to Oral Roberts because I was hoping to try. I'm in a money pool, so thanks to them. I mean, I'm a little bit more angrier at them, so I mean, there's no reason for me to pick against them. But I gotta love a great Cinderella story, and I will be cheering for them regardless because if the boots or the shoe still slips. The shoe still fits. Oh my gosh, can't even get that out of my mouth. Shoe still fits, then they will still be able to keep running. So, but we got Arkansas. I think Matt's also got Arkansas as well. So, pretty obvious choice. And then here we go, 1-3 matchup. Pretty good matchup here. It's going to be another Big 12 SEC matchup. These teams didn't get to verse each other in regular season. Who do you have in this Baylor Arkansas game?
I love this game. This game would be awesome, but at the end of the day, first of all, I love Coach Muss. Scott Drew is an excellent coach for Baylor, but at the end of the day, I've said it all year. Guards matter in March. Baylor's guards are just better. They just are. Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, Maceo Teague. I mean, those guys are just so good. Adam Flagler off the bench too. Those guards are so good. I think this game's very good. I think Arkansas very well could win this game. I think Arkansas is a really good team. But yeah, I had this game in my bracket. But yeah, Baylor. Very good game. I think it's going to be fun.
I'm actually absolutely looking forward to this one. Big game. I think another high scoring one as well, despite both defenses. But we'll see how if Arkansas is up for the test because that's a huge mountain they have to climb, and that's Baylor. And it's a pretty obvious choice here. I have to take Baylor, and that's another once again obvious choice with Matt too. He's also taking Baylor, so another clean sweep for our Final Four. And once again, we're all green, so we certainly believe in these teams. So trust us when we mean these teams. So. All right, we'll keep on moving. This time we're going to be zooming into the East. So this is a team I don't believe I thought was going to make it, and I've been hating them. And in all my brackets, I did not pick them to make it past the Sweet 16, but wouldn't you know what? They're still here, of course. And that is the Michigan Wolverines. They were able to have an easy win against, I mean, we all hoped it would have been Appalachian State, but ended up being Texas Southern, able to handle them. And then the game I thought they were going to lose with LSU, they were able to play really good defense against Cameron Thomas and able to force some shots out of them, and they were able to survive. And then another team that was able to survive, at least handle teams, was Florida State. It was a close game all the way towards until the very end when Florida State pulled away against UNC Greensboro. Isaiah Miller did his best. Gotta love it. Gotta love Isaiah Miller. And then we're able to handle Colorado pretty well. So we got these two teams in the matchup. Who do you got?
Thank God you didn't say what I thought you were going to say. Florida State, I mean, they handled Colorado the way my Hoyas couldn't. I thought you were going to say that I can, you can't. They shot lights out against my Hoyas. I was there for that game. Rough. And then Florida State was just like, we're going to switch everything. McKinley Wright, you're not going to get going. You know, he had 13 assists against the Hoyas. You're going to have 0 of those. Good luck. The thing with Florida State is, as I've said all year long, they're long, athletic, and they switch everything. I mean, literally everything. They take you out of your initial action. Anything you want to do first, Florida State takes you out of that. I think that really hurts this Michigan team because they don't have Isaiah Livers, who I still think is their most important player. And their guards, Mike Smith and Eli Brooks, are not above 6 feet. I mean, they might be listed at that. They're not. They're really small. And when Florida State's starting 6'5", 6'8" back there, that's a terrible matchup. I mean, I don't know how Mike Smith's going to get in the lane and create. When they stop McKinley Wright from doing it, they can stop Mike Smith too. I think Florida State is an awful matchup for Michigan. I got Florida State here. I think Florida State could do that thing where they just don't score for like 10 minutes. I think they could do that. That's probably the way they lose this game. But I got Florida State here. Now, I did pick the Bonnies over Michigan. I will come out and say that. I don't really believe that this Michigan team, without Isaiah Livers, that's huge, by the way. Yep. I don't believe that they're a Final Four team, and I think Florida State's just that team that takes them down. Yeah, I got Florida State here.
The end of the Michigan miracle, if there was a miracle in the first place. And I have Florida State. And once again, so does Matt. Matt's been surprisingly agreeing with me so far, except for one of the picks. So So Florida State, it is. We all agree. This Michigan team doesn't really have it in them to go far. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of time
They got a
before they
great
end up
future,
falling.
though. Great future.
Oh, they absolutely have a great future. It's just this year's not their year. So, all right, we'll keep on zooming to the next game. This one is the number 2 seed Alabama and a double-digit seed, another one, and UCLA making it all the way to the Sweet 16. So we'll start off with why and how they got to there, because of one thankful team in Abilene Christian. So first off, here we go. Quick props, quick clap for you once again. Michael's been doing a very great job so far. Got to give props for props with you.
Oh yeah, clap for myself too.
We were very wrong in that game. I had Texas in my Final Four, not very good. So, let's say they ended up surviving, made 2 daggers of free throws. The guy that only shot around 60% from the free throw line. What the heck? But he was able to clutch up, and then that allowed UCLA, after they were able to upset BYU with pretty handily, they were able to pretty handily just obliterate Abilene Christian, because they only scored 47 points. Christian did. And you're not going to be able to win games in the NCAA tournament like that with 47 points. So UCLA finds a clear path to there. And then Alabama, once again, they had a pretty easy path. I mean, Rick Pitino gave them a fight for the most of the game, and then pulled away at the last minute. You saw the frustration in his eyes as the game just slipped away. But then they got to go up against a Maryland team, dropped 96 on one of the best defensive teams in the Big Ten. Holy moly. And then they go up against a UCLA team that's had a easier road here, thanks to Texas dropping the game. So will UCLA be up to the test of Alabama?
First of all, shout out to my boys at Abilene Christian. You guys are the best. You're the best. If Joe Golden stays there, they're coming back here next year too. I think they move to the WAC next year, and that conference is going to be much better. But shout out to Abilene Christian. Shout out to Joe Golding. You're the best. Matt tried to breeze over that game like it was easy. It wasn't. Abilene Christian, you're a wagon. But I'm going to present my greasy theory on the Pac-12 now. Larry Scott, who's the commissioner of the Pac-12, he was like, yeah, I'm done with this job. I'm going to be done. I don't know when he's officially resigning. I don't know if he already has, but he's like, yeah, I'm done. However, what he said was, he's like, oh yeah, I'm happy for the teams. I'm showing up to Indianapolis to the games. Dead. They're dead now. They were like, oh, we got away from Larry Scott. We're safe. We can win games now. Now you're showing back up. All those teams are done. They're done. So yeah, that's the only reason I'm taking Alabama. I don't have confidence in this game any other than that. UCLA looks a ton better though. Jaime Jaquez and Johnny Juzang have really found their offense. Also, Quad J's, by the way, great names. Larry Scott's coming over to give the one last screw you to his conference, the Pac-12, before he leaves. It better have Bill Walton there though. I saw a tweet saying Bill Walton calls these games. Bill Walton ain't calling these games. You cannot give me hope like that. I need Bill Walton calling tournament games. Damn it.
Give him a chance. So yeah, you got Alabama. Bama is an easy pick here once again too. I mean, I keep saying easy pick, but this one I think is a little bit easier, because Alabama, if they get going, they're dropping 100, 200, 300. However you want to put this, if this team starts scoring, it's game over. And UCLA has struggled in the past defensively, so I think that they should be able to handle them, and they'll be able to meet them. And obviously Matt agrees, and at least obviously, pretty logical pick here. And then we meet with a Florida State, Alabama. You got any chances this one's a little bit closer, since we don't have a 1 seed here this time?
This one could be close. So the thing I've said about Florida State is they force one-on-one matchups and you have to beat them. Alabama, their offense is basically, we're going to beat you one-on-one and dish the ball. So the real thing is, who wins on that end of the floor? Does Florida State's defense stop Alabama, or does Alabama's offense just take over? So essentially, if Florida State wins, they probably win by like 4. If Alabama wins, they're winning by 20 plus. I think they can kill them. I'm going to take Florida State, but I think Florida State's defenders disrupt them. I think you can disrupt John Petty pretty easy. And I think they have enough guys you can throw at Herb Jones to just make things difficult for him. I don't really trust Shackelford as a creator. I think they can take Quinterly out of this game. He's playing at a very high level right now, though. But I think they can take him out of this game. I had Florida State in my Final Four originally. I'm going to stick to my pick. I wouldn't be shocked if you guys go Alabama, though. I wouldn't hate it, but I could very much use Florida State making the Final Four, because I could win some of my bracket pools. That would be awesome. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Florida State. I could very much see Alabama winning, though. I think Alabama could win this game by 30. But
Yeah.
I'm going to take Florida State in a close one, lower scoring game. I think I got Florida State. I think this is the year Leonard Hamilton makes his Final Four.
I don't know, man. I gotta stick with Alabama, and I'll keep it brief because Alabama's offense has just been too unbelievable. And the one thing that we've also learned so far, the ACC has been complete and utter garbage. And I mean, there's still two teams alive from the ACC, but they're got a record of 2-4. SEC has been a lot better. They've been a lot stronger conference than usual, and they've had a lot more competition. So I think Alabama will be up for it. Yes, Alabama's had a lot easier ride to this would be to be the Elite Eight, but I think that they should be able to handle it. And I think their offense is just way too potent for Florida State to handle. And I mean, Florida State also has a decent ride. If they get past Michigan, I mean, I think their tests have been a little bit harder, but I think that Alabama should be able to make it to the Final Four. And then here we go. Who does Matt have? Who are you moving on in this makeshift?
He doesn't agree with me. Just you can tell everyone. Yeah, he doesn't agree with you, Michael.
Do you really think he's going to agree with Michael? Of course not. He's picking Alabama. So there's 3 of our Final Four teams as we move into. We gotta quickly zoom because we're already going a little bit long. So we'll move into our final division and predictions or at least makeshift predictions because we already did a very bad job on the first time. That's why it's called second chance for us. So well, now we're moving on to the most chaotic, craziness division we've seen in 2018 or 2016, whatever you want to call it. It's been a long time since it's something this chaotic, and that is the Midwest Division because what do we see right here? This is the 8 seed versus the 12 seed in the Sweet 16. Sure, that's correct, but sure is because that is the Loyola Ramblers right there after knocking off Georgia Tech. Even though Georgia Tech was missing their best player, Loyola was able to handle them very well, won by a bunch. And then they did the unthinkable and they defeated the Illini. Number 1.
They didn't beat them. They dominated them. That game, the better team won that game. It didn't look like an upset.
Oh, it did not look an upset. It wasn't like a last-minute shot like they've had done in the past. Oh, no, this team has won by a lot for both these games. And, I mean, Loyola, the Cinderella story's back. And whenever Sister Jean is in the building, magical things could start happening. So they were able to do it very, very well. I think they not only won, they won by. Let me pull up the score. It was nasty. I think it was double digit. So,
yeah.
Unbelievable win for Loyola. And then you go and you look at, wait a second, Oregon State. This is a team we all had to give an apology for because none of us believed in this team. And this is the team that ended up knocking off not only Tennessee, who, I mean, they were pretty bad, and I've been hating them all the time, but I still believed it. I think they were able to win, and that was one of my more confident 5-12 picks. And sure enough, Oregon State surprised me. And then I was like, you know what? There's no way in heck they're beating Oklahoma State with Cade Cunningham. And what did they do? They won by 10.
Yeah.
So this matchup right here is going to be an absolutely fun one. Mark your calendars for this one. 8 versus 12 seed in the Sweet 16. This never really happens. So going to be a game to watch. But who do you have in this spectacular matchup?
Yeah. The way that I've seen that you have to beat Loyola, that I was stunned Illinois didn't try, is you really have to press them. You just have to get them. You can't let them run their action. Because when they get Cam Krutwig in that high post, he can do whatever he wants. They run these. I mean, they ran just guys in circles around him, and it was just buckets all day. He was throwing pocket passes, lay-ins, like they're running him, or they're running double screen into a dribble handoff. Just beautiful. I mean, beautiful plays. I think you have to press them. You got to take them out of that stuff. You got to speed them up, or you got to slow them down enough to where they're getting shot clock violations and they have to rush. I don't think Oregon State has the athletes to do that. And my Larry Scott theory from earlier, I really think he's a curse. I think he's cursing that league, and he's coming back. That's a death sentence. So everything in my is playing into Loyola's hands. Ethan Thompson has been awesome, by the way. Oregon State, I've been really wrong about them. I said they were one of the worst 5 seeds of all time. They go through and dominate their conference tournament. Then I say, yeah, I got Tennessee's dumb. I'm like, you know what? They could. I mean, they could win, but I don't think they do. Not only do they win that, they beat Cade, who I thought was like the easiest 4 seed to pick to get this far. It's not Florida State. Yeah, I mean, they did it easy. they handled that game. Shout out to them. They're a really good team. They proved me wrong. Wayne Tinkle's getting that contract extension, but I think the journey ends here. I think you look at Loyola. They run so many good actions off them. Off of Krutwig, and I just think you really have to press them because that defense is swarming. I think that the guys to shut down Ethan Thompson, and I don't think Oregon State has the athletes to press them. So I'm gonna go with Loyola here.
There's one main reason why I'm going to be picking this team, and that's solely because of their head coach, and that's Porter Moser. Dude has just been unbelievable. He deserves so much more credit than he deserves because he's from a lower conference, and nobody's really talking as much about this guy as this. He has just created a scheme of masterpiece. I've been at least reading and watching about them. Just meshes every scheme you could possibly think of and just meshes into one. And the players just work in harmony. And most of the players that's why the Loyola is so good. You just fit another player into the role that Porter Moser wants. Boom. And this team's unstoppable. And that's what it's looked like so far when they were able to go and not only knock off the Big Ten Player of the Year, but also embarrass Kofi Coburn, who's a potential first-round draft pick, and make him just look out like they made him tired. Dude was so tired. They took him out with 4 minutes left in the game. 4 minutes and you're losing. You took your second best player out of the game, the beast. So I think Loyola's got this hands down, and I'm pretty sure Matt, or at least actually, I don't think Matt believes with us.
They swarmed Io all game, and they were like, yeah, good luck. Yeah, we're going to swarm him. We're going to swarm Kofi. Good luck.
Yeah, so me and you take it, but Matt wants to ride the Beaver train, so we'll let him ride the Beaver train. But I think that Loyola has just been too well coached for this year and Pac-12 curse. So, all right, final game here for the Sweet 16 at least is between Syracuse and Houston. Syracuse, an 11 seed, that is our fourth double-digit seed in the Sweet 16. Once again, we said this never really happens, so enjoy it while it lasts. So they were able to
enjoy this team.
Not only knock off my team that I really, really also believed in, and my San Diego State, just absolutely obliterated them because a white guy that decides that he's going to not miss from the Beyond the Arc just wanted to show up, and his name has to do with a Christmas character name, otherwise known as Buddy the Elf or Buddy Bohine. And he just couldn't miss, and the rest of the team couldn't miss with him, and just absolutely obliterated San Diego State. And then went and just absolutely, they were obliterating them all game. West Virginia tried to make a last-minute push, but Syracuse.
That was a jump ball. It was a terrible call by the refs. That was a jump ball. West Virginia should have had the ball. Deuce McBride would have made the shot. The refs are against America.
All right. Yeah. Well, as if you couldn't tell, there is a much hatred towards this orange team. So that's Syracuse's journey. Houston, pretty easy ride. They got Cleveland State. Great story for them, but not going to be able to handle a number 2 seed Houston team. And then Houston, one of the best comebacks I've seen in a long time, down 10 points with about 5 or 4 minutes left in the game. And Rutgers blew it. Number 10 seed Rutgers blew it, and they lost by 3. And they had the opportunity to, and Ron Harper Jr. open look, missed the 3, out of the tournament. Goodbye, and Houston moves on. So, in this final Sweet 16 matchup, who do you got?
First of all, I love Rutgers. You gave it a good try. Everyone was rooting for you. And Miles Johnson, their center, is actually transferring. He's going to go out west to one of these Pac-12 teams. Perfect timing to get when Larry Scott's leaving. He's making a very smart decision. That's a smart man right there. But when you look at it, actually, I've got a stat on one of these teams, and it is the Syracuse team. With Jim Boeheim, his winning percentage in the second round for a short prep opponent is 66%. He's winning 2 out of every 3. 66.66, 66%, whatever. Against a Sweet 16 team, a team that has full prep against him, he wins 36.8% of the time. It's not very good. But against an Elite 8 team with very short prep, he wins 71.4% of the time. So 5 out of every 7. This team is going against a team that shoots 50 in the 50s for in the country in 3-point percentage. I think they're like at 35, so they're not terrible. They got multiple guys that can run in the high post. And Kelvin Sampson, I've trusted you. The first time I came on this show, I said Villanova was a top 3 team in the country. Bad take there, but I also said I love you, Kelvin Sampson. I trust you. You're an excellent coach. I think I'm right there. And you know what? America should have his back here. We're going against a team that everyone should hate, the Boeheims and that pesky orange team. They got full time to prep. Quentin Grimes, Dejan Giroux. That's a tough team right there. They're going to out-tough them. And if those refs don't screw up America over again. Like they screwed over Bob Huggins in West Virginia. Houston should take this game. This is totally not a bias pick. There's no bias whatsoever. I totally am not like kind of worried that Syracuse makes the Final Four. I'm not worried about that at all. Like I wasn't worried at all that San Diego State would win. I didn't say anything like San Diego State probably wins the VO. I didn't say anything like that. I'm not worried at all here. Totally not. I got Houston.
All right. Well, I just got to stick with it. I'll keep it quick. Houston by far. I mean, if you stop Buddy, you stop the entire team. I know they also had Gerard, the third, that was also pulling up from three and absolutely making it, but you can't be automatic from three every single time. I think this big rest helps Houston out more than it does for Syracuse, because Syracuse was red hot. They needed more games to keep on rolling. This is going to make them cool off, and Houston's going to be able to regain. And they're number two seed for a reason in this tournament. So I think they'll be able to handle it, and most likely be able to make it to the at least I won't say anything just yet, because we'll wait there for a little bit more. But I think we'll be able to get past Syracuse. And then Matt also agrees with us. Once again, we all believe, because none of us like Syracuse. So screw you, Syracuse. So we all got Houston here, and then we'll move on to our final game that we're going to be covering, at least for now, because we're not going to pick the national championship just yet, because we're going to wait until next week's video, because we want to save. We don't want to make ourselves look stupid too many times. So we're only going to go all the way up to the Final Four, kind of make our way to the national championship this time. So, all right, Loyola versus Houston. Two teams that I know Matt loves very dearly, because he's been a big fan of the Missouri Valley and Loyola, just like me. And then he's also been on loving Houston, at least during the regular season. Didn't pick him to win or get this far in his bracket, but hey, we'll see what he's got this time. So Loyola, Houston, who do you got?
Yeah. So first of all, if I'm Loyola, I'm really rooting for that Syracuse matchup. They can throw Cam Krutwig in the high post of that zone and just slice teams up. That's really what they did against Georgia Tech. But Georgia Tech runs this weird zone that doesn't really make any sense. But they still run a zone. Syracuse runs a very 2-3. You can just throw it into him. They got shooters around him. He can do whatever he wants out of that high post. If I'm Loyola, I really want that Syracuse matchup. You got Houston. This is a 50-50 game, I think. Really 50-50. This game could go either way. In the end, though, I think Houston has the athletes that will press up, and I think that can disrupt Loyola's offense. Because Loyola's defense this game will be low scoring. This game's probably in the 50s. So, yeah, that's why I said 50-50. Low-scoring games can go anyway. That's why I picked North Texas, why I picked against Virginia. I just like low-scoring. If you're in a low-scoring game, I like the dog. But I'm going to fade my entire logic and not use my brain and take Houston. I just think the athletes they have, I think they'll press up. I think they'll get under Loyola's skin. This is not a confident pick. Part of it is because I hate that Sister Jean Cinderella picture. I hate that with a passion. It's nightmare fuel. Yeah, I'm going to take Houston. Not really confident.
All right. I got Houston. I will I'll quickly look into, let me pull it up. All right. So, I mean, Matt had his Oregon State, so I know he'd probably have to adjust it. So, but I'm assuming he believes if Oregon State could win, then that means he's picking the team that I'm also going to be rooting with, and that is Loyola. And
allow it.
The difference between these two teams, the 8 seed and the 2 seed, guess who has more experience being in the Final Four? Oh, wait, the 8 seed does. So I think Loyola, experience-wise, is going to be the thing that's going to push them over the edge and be able to handle them. And that's why I have them making another Final Four. Do I think they'll be able to make it past the Final? Not really, but they'll be able to make it and say they made it again, which is unbelievable, which is 2 Final Fours in, I believe, 2 years or however long it's been since the last time they did that. But I just cannot believe that the Ramblers are in this situation again where they're able to do this. So Ramblers move on, and there you go. There's our very bold Final Four so far. And will it happen? Probably not, because we've been wrong, and that's how this March has gone so far, because this one has been unbelievable. But hey, at least we're giving our
State's going to make the Final Four and Houston, so I can be right. They're going to be wrong. They're holding me back because everyone knows I'm the smartest man.
All right. Oh, okay. You've been right about a lot of things. We'll see.
I'm kidding.
We'll see what you do, actually. So, all right, that's going to do it. I know we went a little bit long again, once again, for our college basketball videos, but
I ramble. It's what I do best.
So, oopsies, poopsies. What are we gonna do? But I hope everyone has enjoyed, once again, another college basketball video. We're going to be pushing these out as much as possible. Why? Because we love college basketball. So other than that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and until next time, we'll be here just talking about sports.
Peace out, everybody.